Supply chain management is a strategic discipline that integrates the planning, sourcing, production, movement, and distribution of goods and services to deliver value efficiently and sustainably. It extends beyond individual business functions and focuses on the coordination of multiple suppliers, manufacturers, logistics providers, distributors, and customers. In today's interconnected and volatile global economy, effective supply chain management has become a critical determinant of organizational survival and competitiveness. This importance is even more pronounced in developing economies, where infrastructure constraints, market uncertainty, and resource limitations demand adaptive, resilient, and digitally enabled supply chains. To translate these abstract concepts into a practical and intuitive understanding. The following case study presents the story of Zia, an entrepreneur operating a seemingly simple tea business. Through his daily decisions, the narrative demonstrates how core SCM principles are applied in real-world conditions, such as upstream and downstream integration, push and pull systems, procurement strategy, inventory optimization, logistics trade-offs, demand forecasting, and risk management. This story reveals an essential truth. Behind every ordinary product lies an extraordinary network of decisions, flows, and strategies. Zia Journey serves as a comprehensive illustration of how supply chain management functions not merely as an operational tool, but as a strategic framework that connects global resources to local markets while balancing cost, speed, risk, and customer satisfaction. Imagine Zia standing in the middle of a bustling Lahore bazaar, holding a single, perfectly designed, smart chai kit. To the casual observer, he is just selling tea. But in Zia's mind, he is the conductor of a global orchestra. He knows his business is a supply chain, a living nervous system that connects a tea picker in Kenya to a college student in Karachi. While his father managed with a dusty ledger and a landline, Zia has transitioned to the digital era, using AI to predict tea prices before the monsoon even hits. In a developing economy like Pakistan, SCM is about survival, navigating broken roads, and erratic power grids that a manager in a developed country would never imagine. Inside his headquarters, Zia maintains a strict mental map. When he looks at the machines packaging the tea, he is managing operations, the internal how. When he watches his fleet of bikes navigate the narrow streets, he is overseeing logistics, the physical where. But when he looks at the entire map, balancing leaf costs against speed to ensure a profit, he is practicing supply chain management. He views his empire as a river. Upstream, he manages the suppliers who harvest the leaves, blending the secret spice mix. And downstream, he flows toward the distributors, the retailers, and finally, the customers. If he follows a push system, he acts as a fortune teller, using make-to-stock to fill warehouses for a cold winter. It's a gamble. If the sun stays out, his capital is trapped in boxes of tea. However, if he switches to a pull system, he becomes a waiter, using make-to-order to blend the tea only when an app notification pings. This keeps his soul calm, but it risks a stockout if 1,000 people suddenly crave chai at once. Zia realizes a visionary is useless if the gears aren't greased. He handles operational tasks like buying ink quickly, but strategic sourcing involves long-term contracts. He balances a tug-of-war between global and local sourcing, knowing that a single lapse in ethical sourcing could burn his reputation faster than a spilled kettle. Zia sees his frozen cash sitting in 3 forms: raw materials, work in process, and finished goods. He is haunted by inventorists. To solve this, he hunts for the EOQ, the golden ratio, where ordering costs perfectly balance storage costs. He discovers his bottleneck, a slow labeling machine,
proving that his total throughput is only as fast as his slowest gear.
By applying lean manufacturing, Zia ruthlessly cuts muda, or waste, ensuring the heartbeat of production never skips a beat. He navigates a constant cost versus speed trade-off, choosing the tortoise of sea freight for bulk tea, but the hare of air freight when a shortage threatens. His greatest headache is the last-mile delivery, the final boss, where the last 500 meters through unmapped alleys cost him the most. He is on guard against the Bullwhip Effect,
where a tiny twitch in demand at a shop causes a panicked whip crack of over-ordering that hits his factory as a massive wave. To steady the ship, he implements sales and operations planning, forcing his sales and production teams to speak the same language.
By using risk pooling, centralizing stock in key hubs, he ensures a sudden tea craze in Lahore can be fed by stock meant for Islamabad.
Zia proves that in the world of SCM, the smartest player isn't the one with the most tea, but the one with the best map.
Just as Zia's empire feels invincible, a Black Swan event arrives.
A sudden monsoon flood washes away his primary sugar supplier, exposing the efficiency trap.
Zia realizes his supply chain was so lean, it had no room to bend, only to break.
To survive, he makes the tricky choice to trade a bit of his profit for resilience, shifting from a single source model to diversification by hiring backup suppliers across different provinces to mitigate natural disaster and political risk. But the modern world demands more than just survival. Zia notices his customers want a guilt-free cup. He transforms his operation into a green supply chain, calculating his carbon footprint and launching a circular model where tea tins are returned and reused, proving that social responsibility is a competitive edge rather than just a cost. To manage this, Zia abandons his manual logs for a sophisticated ERP system, granting him total supply chain visibility.
Is it? He can now see a shipment's location on the ocean as clearly as the tea in his own cup.
He pushes further into the digital frontier, using IoT sensors to monitor warehouse temperature,
and AI to decode market signals that humans miss. He secures his legacy with blockchain, providing an unforgettable digital passport for every batch of tea. To prove it is ethically sourced, and he builds a digital twin, a virtual mirror of his entire empire, to simulate what-if disasters before they ever happen. Zia is no longer just a tea merchant. He is a digital architect, proving that while efficiency wins the day, it is technology and resilience that win the decade.
As Zia's smart chai empire matures into a titan, he realizes that intuition is no longer enough. He must become a master of the dashboard.
He sits in his command center, obsessing over KPIs, as if they were the vitals of a living patient. He knows that on-time delivery, OTD, and fill rate are the heartbeat of customer trust. But he watches his inventory turnover even more closely, aware that tea sitting too long in a warehouse is simply lazy money that... Using the SQR model as his master script, he audits every stage, from plan to return. But the trickiest lesson he learns is the iceberg effect of total landed cost. He realizes that Kenyan tea bought at a discount isn't actually cheap if the Karachi port delays.
Customs duties and informal clearance costs double the price by the time it reaches his door.
He constantly navigates the brutal trade-off between service and speed.
realizing that offering 100% availability to a remote village in Skardu might have a cost to serve so high it eats the profit of 10 sales in Lahore. However, Zia's greatest challenge isn't found in a textbook. It is the Pakistani crucible.
Operating in an FMCG environment, he is a prisoner of import dependence, watching the rupee's volatility and the relentless climb of logistics costs, driven by fuel inflation. He looks at the national wheat and textile crises as cautionary tales. Cautionary tales of what happens when energy supply issues and poor network optimization collide. To stay ahead, he borrows strategies from other sectors. He adopts the cold chain precision of pharmaceuticals to keep his spices potent, and the aggressive agility of e-commerce to bypass broken traditional retail. By the time his kits reach the shelf, Zia has managed a gauntlet of port strikes, power outages, and economic shifts. He is no longer just a tea merchant. He is a national strategist
who has turned the chaos of the local market into a streamlined, high-performance machine. Proving that in the world of SCM, the data might be global, but the survival is local.
Zia's office in Lahore has finally evolved from a simple command center into a high-stakes war room, where he no longer manages just the flow of tea, but the flow of power and high-level strategy.
He has moved into the realm of trade-off thinking, realizing that, in a crisis, like a sudden transporter strike in Karachi, there is no perfect answer, only a calculated choice.
He runs scenario analysis to determine if paying double for private couriers to save his on-time delivery.
On-time delivery is worth the hit to his profit margins, knowing that crisis management is the ultimate test of a leader's nerve.
At the negotiation table, he faces the sugar barons, not with demands,
but with contract communication that offers long-term stability in exchange for priority supply.
He has become the master of cross-functional coordination, ensuring his marketing team doesn't promise.
A massive sale at the exact moment his production lines are down, proving that a siloed business is a failing business. As his influence grows, Zia is summoned to Islamabad to help shape supply chain governance and policy.
He moves beyond his own company to look at the national map,
arguing that the role of government is to create trade policies and tariffs that protect supply chain sovereignty.
He realizes that a country that cannot feed or fuel itself is a country at the mercy of others.
As a strategic leader, he champions ethical leadership, refusing to bypass environmental laws even when the economy is struggling.
He looks 20 years into the future, planning for a resilient national supply chain,
where Pakistan grows its own premium tea to shield its citizens from the volatility of global markets.
Zia's journey, which began with a single tea leaf, ends with him securing the sovereignty of the cup.
Proving that the ultimate goal of supply chain management isn't just a delivered box. It is a stable, self-reliant nation.